We back. It's the collaboration. Got Neil Sedlak here over to my left. Got Scott Sedlak over here to my right. And we here for the joint NerdBoyz podcast along with the Nico City Chronicles.
Yeah.
And right about now, it's funny because these two are twins.
Yes, we are.
That's right. That's right.
They were just telling me, Scott.
I'm 5 minutes older. Just gotta say it no matter what.
He always has to say it. He always has to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Every time we meet somebody.
I'm older, wiser. I'm losing the looks, but I used to have it. Now Neil's actually developed a little better than I have during the years. I aged a little.
Losing my hair. That's why
Somebody thought I was 35 the other day, or almost 40. I was like, oh, it's awesome.
Which is funny because I'm like the oldest person in here right now.
2 years older than us? 33?
Yep, 33.
Yeah.
The same age as Jesus.
It's a good age.
Good age. Hopefully I'll get crucified.
Yeah, hope it's not the last one, though.
Oh, that was the year you got crucified, too.
Yeah. That's the last one.
All right, so let's get into some of this stuff, man.
So, yeah, we going to talk about some conspiracy theories and one that comes to mind right now, only because I've been watching this documentary, Who Killed Malcolm X. You can find it on Netflix. So, Malcolm X died. Actually, the anniversary just passed February 21st, 1965, 56 years ago. Yeah. So, it's a lot that happened that day.
Right.
3 men were arrested. Look at my notes here. Okay, we got Mujahid. I can't read my own handwriting. Mujahid Abdul Halim.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the people that actually did take part in it.
Wow.
And it was 2 other guys, Muhammad Abdul Aziz.
Yeah.
And Khalil Islam. First, he actually went by Norman 3X Butler. Another one went by Thomas 15X Johnson.
So this is the Nation of Islam we're talking about.
Nation of Islam. So, so I read up on I was wondering, like, why is it 15X and why is it 3? Apparently, that's the number of people who had that name before them. So,
I never knew that.
Yeah, so
that was
this guy,
that's a little nerd pointer right there.
Right. So Norman was 2 other Normans besides him. He was the 3rd Norman at his mosque. Yeah. And for Thomas, it was 14 other Thomases besides him. So
yeah. And before we even get into any of that, I just want to make sure everyone knows that we're talking about the Nation of Islam. We're not talking about Islam in general. Right. We're just talking about a small group of a sect of Islam. I got a friend who's a Shia Muslim from Lebanon, and he has nothing to do with Nation of Islam at all. And I'm not even saying the Nation of Islam is bad. I'm just saying we're not talking about religion right now. We're just talking about a specific incident.
Yeah, specific incident, which is the assassination of Malcolm X.
That's it. That's all we're talking about.
With it being Black History Month, and also with the fact that the anniversary was just a few days ago.
Yeah. So it is relevant.
So I'm watching this documentary, and it's a guy that I can't even think of his name right now. He's kind of like spearheading everything, and part of it is between the government and the Nation of Islam. They may have collaborated to assassinate Malcolm X because I guess his ideals were a little too.
Yeah, he started to switch up on them, and didn't he travel somewhere and come back and change? Like something happened. I don't know. Someone in the comments might be able to know about that.
It's I guess you could call it a come to Jesus moment.
Yeah.
So he had that moment. I think he traveled to. I want to say maybe it was Israel.
I think it was, or maybe it was Mecca.
Mecca. I think it was Mecca.
That's where Muslims travel. That's
I think it was Mecca. And that's when he had that awakening, and
something told him he was in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
So he decided to switch up. I mean, everyone who knows the 60s revolutionary movement, there was the segregationists, which was Malcolm X, and then there was the Martin Luther King umbrella, where they wanted just everybody to treat each other as they want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? So there was 2 different thought processes that were going to the same problem, which was racism.
Yeah.
And Malcolm X started to change up his tone a little bit at the end of his life because he was all about separate but equal. which was what the Nation of Islam was pushing. And then he started to switch on that, and then Louis Farrakhan did not like that.
Right. And Elijah Muhammad, who was, the head honcho over there at the Nation of Islam, he was top guy. He was the one.
That's a household name. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the one that organized everything. He was the one that founded it, and but watching the documentary, he stated that Malcolm X pretty much he dug his own grave, but he also said that he had nothing to do with it because he still saw Malcolm X as a son. He had one of his sons did not like Malcolm X because he felt he was treated more as a son than
I heard about that. That's
I can't think of the son's name right now.
Right, I know what you're talking about. You touched on something.
Should have wrote it on my notes, but
whatever. So someone in the comments comment on what that is.
Yeah, so it was just like so then like you get to February 21st, 1965. Night before Malcolm X checked into the New York Hilton Hotel. He wanted to stay low key because he knew
there was people coming for him, and it wasn't just the Nation of Islam either, or Louis Farrakhan. It was government.
Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah. FBI, CIA.
Put him on that imaginary list of people that are
threatening our democracy. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, so
exactly. That's what they thought he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like, you look at it now, and it's like I'm more appreciative of Malcolm X because, he just did what he thought. He just did what he believed in.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Whether you agree with what he said or not, he's a genius.
Yeah.
Just go on YouTube and just look up Malcolm X interview. Just let him talk for 5 minutes. Listen to how he carries himself. He's on another level of intellectual.
Leaders have fought for civil rights.
What do you mean
they
by
have
fought?
begged for civil rights. They have begged the white man for civil rights. They have begged the white man for freedom. And anytime you beg another man to set you free, you will never be free. Freedom is something that you have to do for yourselves. And until the American Negro lets the white man know that we are really, really ready and willing to pay the price that is necessary for freedom, our people will always be walking around here second-class citizens, or what you call 20th century slaves.
What price are you talking about, sir?
The price of freedom is death.
He is. He's on a different level.
Yeah, he's on a different level.
Landscape than having a regular conversation. You wouldn't even be able to kind of keep up with him.
You can't keep up with him.
Right.
Every person that tried to interview him, it's not like they were going after each other, but it seemed like he would crush them with his intellect.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. He was I forgot which show he was on, but he kept asking him about what his name, like what was his dad's name. He was like, "Well, that was my dad's slave name. Like that wasn't the name that his original name."
Yeah.
And every time they would ask him about it, he would like answer that the same answer. And he had this cool, smooth swagger with him, to where it was like, wow, like you cannot get through to this. Like you can't break this dude.
No, he was unbreakable.
And then he was he was a common thief, sold drugs, all before he went to prison.
Yeah.
And when he went to prison, he changed his life around. Elijah Muhammad, all that.
Yeah.
Rest is history.
Yeah, it happens to a lot of people that go to prison. By the way, they go to prison, read a lot of books, change the way they think, and rest is history. It happens all the time.
All the time, and you take it back to that day that he was assassinated. So 3 men were arrested. Mention the name Thomas Hagen, who goes by Mujahid Abdul Halim.
Yeah,
I hope I'm saying that right. I hope I didn't butcher it. He was actually one of the people involved in the assassination, and
he admitted to it.
He admitted to it. He actually was the one that, if you ever seen the Malcolm X movie with Denzel Washington, the guy that was shot trying to escape after they shot Malcolm X, after they assassinated him. Yeah. The guy that was shot was him.
Wow.
So he was the guy that was shot. That's how he got caught.
Wow.
And what's the interesting fact about it is this goes to show like the whole conspiracy aspect of everything, because normally it happened at Audubon Hall in New York City in Manhattan. So typically they would have about 24 officers there, guarding the place to make sure everything's in order.
Right.
This day,
normal, right?
There were only 2.
That sounds like a setup. Sounds like a setup to me.
That sounds like a setup. So you got anywhere from the Nation of Islam.
And where were these cops, by the way? Because he didn't get arrested right away. He got away, right?
No. And it's funny because after the assassination, it was about pretty much what you saw on the Malcolm X movie is exactly how it played out in real life.
Yeah.
which his wife Betty Shabazz is actually, I can't think of the term for it. She had a lot to do. Like she was almost
compliant.
She was almost like an executive producer on the movie. So
yeah, yeah.
So pretty much after he's killed, that's when all these officers show up, and they actually saved the guy from being killed because they shot him, and he actually shot one of Malcolm X's aides, I believe. And after they caught up to him, he got shot. They caught up to him, start beating the shit out of him.
Wow.
So before they could kill him is when the cops showed up.
Yeah.
So the cops show up. He's arrested. 2 other guys are arrested. Muhammad Abdul Aziz, he was paroled in 1985. The documentary "Who Killed Malcolm X" actually led to them. They started a preliminary review of his conviction, so he could possibly get his conviction overturned.
Wow.
The other guy, Khalil Islam, who formerly Thomas 15X Johnson, he passed away in 2009. He was paroled in 87, so he won't. Well, he probably possibly will get exonerated for his role because he was innocent. Muhammad Abdul, he was actually nursing a leg injury. He actually has witnesses stating that he was in a hospital in the Bronx hours before.
He got arrested?
He got arrested.
Wow.
And this happened like weeks after.
Wow.
So 1978 is when Thomas Hagen, I'm just gonna call him Thomas Hagen.
Yeah, you don't gotta say his name.
I'm gonna say Thomas Hagen.
Yeah.
So he, in 1978, that's when he let it be known that he had 4 other co-conspirators with him that took part in the assassination of Malcolm X.
Wow.
Yeah. So, he's they're all out of jail now.
They're all out. And now Louis Farrakhan, when he's asked, every time he gets asked about the situation, he does not lie about it or try to cover it up. He's just like, yeah, I might have something to do with it. Yeah. So that's crazy to me.
And what's crazy, I think he may have worked with the government. So
that's what the conspiracy is, that Louis Farrakhan and others high up in the Nation of Islam conspired with the CIA and the FBI. And it wasn't just them, it was the government as well.
And I feel like Elijah Muhammad may have not had nothing to do with it. I feel like
he seems like a spiritual guy that probably wouldn't have anything to do with that. That's what he seems like. It comes off that way to me.
And plus, like he said, he saw Malcolm X as a son. Like Malcolm X, his dad was.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would agree with that too. But then you got the fact that Louis Farrakhan can go out and talk about it and not get in trouble for it, lets you know that there's some government behind him. He's got some sort of protection going on, because nobody can just admit to murdering somebody and walk around and do speeches every day. You know what I'm saying?
And another fun fact, Muhammad Abdul, this is a guy that was, he's still alive. They opened up a case to review his conviction. Yeah. He actually was against Malcolm X anyway. So he said in this documentary that had he came to that mosque that day, had he come to the, not the mosque, the hall that day, they wouldn't have let him in because they knew exactly who he was.
Right. Yeah.
So he wouldn't have got in anyway because he was somebody that was
against him. Yeah. So that makes sense too. So that's just logical.
So the 4 that came were from the mosque, and the other 4 who are pretty much in the win right now, got away with it. They were from a mosque in Newark, New Jersey. Right. It's a mosque number 25. Yeah. So these guys never been found. Names may have been changed since
That's why I think the government.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
but then that brings you to the next, not next topic, but same topic, but different people, same era, the 60s. Martin Luther King's assassination unsolved. Right. That makes you wonder, because he was right up there. I mean, you can't even. It's hard to have a conversation about.
The guy was arrested. Was it James Earl Ray?
James Earl Ray, right. And then what happened to him?
I think he actually may have died in prison, I want to say.
Right. Now, that's what I'm getting at. Wasn't it a conspiracy that he didn't do it or something like that? Or
it was even a conspiracy that Martin Luther King didn't even die from an initial gunshot.
Right, that's what I was trying to get to.
He actually died in a hospital because he was suffocated.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
that's the conspiracy. So is that he survived the gunshot wound, and they were like, he was not supposed to survive that gunshot wound, so send in number 2 to finish the job.
Yeah,
that's what people are saying. So I don't know if that's true, but like, you know, that's the point of this podcast right now. We're doing conspiracy theories, bro.
Right.
That's the thing about the world. We talked about this. Like the world back then, you can put anyone you want in this position during the 60s and 70s. There's no Facebook. There's nobody's doing a podcast. The world, you can just place anyone in this position, and they can be completely innocent. Yeah,
we'll see it coming.
Yeah. It's only people that are empowered. They can rewrite the history. You know, they can tell us that.
Cover it up.
They can make us believe that some of these things are true, and none of them even are. You know, and the real killers are the government.
Lee Harvey Oswald. That was like, you mean to tell me he
took like different angles? He ran from one
the magic bullet, they call it. Where the bullet supposedly magically did one of these waves.
It went like this and this.
Yeah,
it went out.
So then this guy gets arrested, and he clearly looks like a scapegoat. They're clearly making him look like a crazy nutbag. But the fact that he gets arrested, he's going to court, he's in cuffs, walking to court, he gets murked out on his way to court. You never get to hear him ever speak about what happened, and that's the end of it.
Right.
That to me is something's up with that.
And it was like something crazy happened just before JFK got shot too. There was a man with an umbrella. Now it was a nice sunny day in Dallas.
Oh, I heard. Yep.
I don't know if he actually. I forgot if he put the umbrella up or if he put it down.
I
want to say he put it up.
Show it, yeah. Show the video.
I'm showing it while you're speaking. Go ahead.
Nice. So yeah, he's I guess he's putting the umbrella up.
Yeah.
And it's just like right after the umbrella goes up, and everything happened.
Oh, so it was like a signal.
Like a signal.
That's a good, was it even raining?
No. It was a sunny day in Dallas.
That's a good point, bro.
Yeah. So it was just
that's a good point. Why would somebody have an umbrella when it's not raining out? And the odds of him putting up the umbrella before the shot hit.
Yeah, as soon as the motorcade passes by him, it's just like it was like a signal.
So that tells you right there was a hit. It wasn't just a random event. It was a corroborated event by multiple people. Most likely the government. I mean, JFK.
They made a movie called JFK, and it's like 3.5 hours, and they never tell you who the killer is. They just it's Lee Harvey Oswald is played by I forgot his name.
You know what it makes me wonder?
I forgot his name. He's the guy who plays Dracula. No, Kevin Costner's like the detective going after him.
Yeah,
right.
But Lee Harvey Oswald's played by the Dracula from Bram Stoker. He's one of the greatest actors of all time. I can't think of his name. Gary Oldman. I couldn't think of his name.
This dude knows movies.
Yeah, he's one of the greatest actors of all time. I love his work. I think he can just chameleon into anything. It's unreal.
Right.
Yeah. He played Lee Harvey Oswald and he did a really good job.
You know what I was thinking though? So the Watergate scandal happens another decade later. Now Richard Nixon ran against JFK and lost.
Yeah.
And I don't think. What if Nixon had something to do with Nixon or with JFK's assassination? Because he was a very powerful man at that point in time in government.
And that's what we brought up before. This can happen easily. These things can be easily coerced by people in power.
We like to think that our government works together and loves each other, but they don't, dude. No. These Democrats and Republicans hate each other. It's blood. They're all for blood, dude.
They are.
You seen Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump? They were like
it
was just like a matter of seeing who could out petty each other.
Yeah,
and it's on like Facebook, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, they all try to post each other's faults. Like, oh, did you see what Ted Cruz did? And see what Nancy Pelosi did? All of this is back and forth.
So politics has become. It's not about what I'm going to do to change the community.
Look at this.
It's about how bad they are.
Yeah, both sides.
It's never. Here's my solutions. And this is what our party's going to do.
This is working. This is what's working. No, it's like, look at this asshole. Yeah. He's an asshole. So you guys are all assholes.
As a result, everyone looks horrible because it's just getting fingers pointed at each other. So everyone just looks bad.
Yeah,
nothing gets done.
You see what my issue is with that? We got too many old senile motherfuckers in office right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And I will say it like this. I could care less about if you're a Democrat or Republican. The fact is, I am actually for term limits. When people mention term limits, the fact is, we are millennials.
Yeah.
With Generation X right below us.
Right.
These are the two generations that should be in charge right now, instead of the baby boomer generation, because
they don't know what's going on.
You got people in their late 70s, pushing 80, in their 80s, that are making decisions for us.
Talking about play the record player and stuff, saying silly shit like that.
Yeah, this is a different era. This is the era of social media, technology, climate change.
I agree with that.
This is a whole new era and like you said, people like us need to take the wheel now because it's before it's too late.
because we had a conversation offline, and Miles Carter, and when you said he was on here.
That's my boy, Miles Carter.
Miles Carter for sheriff. And if you don't have that conversation with Miles, you would think he's like a Malcolm X type before.
Yeah, you would. So this is this is exactly what I told you before we went live. Is that Miles Carter? When I found out he was coming on my podcast, my first reaction was, his views are way different than mine. He might think I'm extreme. I might, he might look like a little extreme to me or something like that. We're way off on each other. And then he comes down, he sits here, has an hour-long conversation, no notes, no teleprompter, just from the heart, from the hip, and we can disagree on things and try to find, instead of trying to attack each other on what we disagree with, we tried to relate as much as possible. And I was blown away by anybody that can do that and sit down and have a conversation with somebody for an hour with someone they totally disagree with. You got my vote. I don't even care what your politics are. You got my vote right then and there.
Right. And the younger, I'm with you too. I want more younger people in politics that actually have a clue of what's going on in the world. You know, like these people, like you said, like even if Donald Trump runs again, why would he run again? He's gonna be like 85 or something.
Yeah, he needs to
what?
just lay
Why?
Everyone's
like, he's gonna run again. We're gonna win the next time. It's like, why? Why would you run?
You know what? That dude just needs to take his billions and just go right out in the sunset.
All of them.
You're rich.
You did it.
Yeah, all the old ones.
You're not even rich. You're wealthy.
Yeah,
It's the difference.
Like, look, you became the president. You were a billionaire.
You're gonna
conquered
be
life.
old.
You conquered life.
You can't take another 4.
You literally lived the American dream.
Right, you literally are the American dream. Just go.
Like, you lived it all.
You can't wait another 4.
You became president.
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
Probably bullshitting around. It probably was a bet.
You know what I was thinking though?
Yeah, probably was a bet.
To get back
Some rich motherfuckers.
To get back into conspiracy stuff though. To get back into conspiracy stuff though, people like that. Now, from the when we're on the bottom, we're middle class, lower class people like us, working class people. We look up at that and we're like, why don't they ever have when is there enough? Like, if I had $1 billion, would that be enough for me to just retire?
Yeah.
We think we would, right?
Yeah.
It sounds normal.
Yeah.
But when you get to that level, you always want more.
Power.
And then it makes you wonder, people with billions of dollars, like Bill Gates, what are their ambitions? Are they trying to find ways to live forever? Like, think about this. You and I are trying to figure out a way to get our podcast off the ground.
Reanimation.
That's our goal in life. He's so high above us right now. I just talked about this in the last podcast. But he's so above us right now that I'm sure his main project right now is to figure out a way. How can I live forever? How much money do I need to invest in some computer? How do I hook up my consciousness into a computer?
That's what they're thinking now. That's what they're trying to do now.
I would not be surprised.
Right.
And like with the whole conspiracy theory thing, I feel like that might be true.
Yeah.
And I feel like even like with technology as a whole, I'm recording a podcast on my phone as we're streaming on your phone.
Right.
As we're recording on your phone.
Yeah.
We're recording on YouTube on his iPhone. I got my Android here recording my podcast. And it's just like
joint podcast.
We could not do this 10 years ago.
No.
20 years ago, forget about it.
Yeah.
20 years ago, not even close. 10 years ago, we would have to be like millionaires to get some stuff like this off the ground.
Oh, it's interesting too because we're at the age, us, that like we grew up with this stuff while it was growing up too. Like we started off with Oregon Trail, you know what I mean, on those little shitty
Very
computers.
fun game out of
And we all were part of the evolution of this stuff.
Yes.
So we should be in charge. We're the ones that are innovating all this stuff. You know, we're the ones that are behind all this stuff. And I couldn't agree more with you. Like the age limit and the term in office needs to be fixed because like even like Cuomo, for example, like I'm not a Democrat, Republican. He's been there for so long. Let's have someone else give it a shot. You know, like anyone. I want some new blood. I want some fresh blood. I want some people that are like us. You know, to be in charge. I agree.
And it don't even got to be like, and like I say, the political affiliation really don't matter,
Doesn't matter
to me at this point.
Yeah.
As long as you're a progressive thinker, that's what I care about. If you could sit down, like Will said, if you could sit down and have a conversation with me, no matter Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, all that stuff. I'm so sick of hearing, the liberals this or conservative that. It's who the fuck cares? At the end of the day, who has our best interest at heart?
Yeah. Who actually cares about making things better instead of making
and it's hard to find who that is now because everybody panders to the vote so much that you're like, who really has my back here?
Yeah, you don't even know what's real.
Like which one of these? Direction do I go
you got
in?
people voting because
Yeah.
Which party they hate more.
Yeah, dude, it's so crazy. People vote against nowadays. Nobody
I rarely
votes for.
unfriend people, but I've unfriended people from both sides that are just so too much about bashing one another. You know, it's just like, okay, that's enough.
Like,
you have to kick them when they're in the face. You know, it's both sides. Both sides.
Cause like I had shared I was telling you I shared a link on my it was a Channel 7 Facebook page. I shared a link on one of the stats they put up. It was like regarding the sheriff's race. So I put the podcast and they go for the podcast with Miles. Somebody put up an old tweet about him saying something.
Oh, great.
Probably in the spur of the moment type of deal.
Of course.
And everybody that tried to come at me with tagging me or Derek Middlebrooke.
That's crazy.
Derek, I'm just like, well, if you want to talk, you could personal message me. You can come on my podcast. We can even go out to a bar and have a few beers and talk about it.
That's what I'm saying. And
nobody wants to do that.
And
exactly.
We're all guilty. And I confidently say everyone is guilty of tweeting something or posting something that they might have forgot about
when I was a kid.
That if it got pulled up now, you might get in trouble for that. Like, we got to stop holding people accountable for some tweet they wrote 6 years ago or whatever. They might have felt that way in the moment, that point in time, in that second. They might not feel that way right now. People's minds change over time.
And this goes into a good topic with like cancel culture.
Yeah,
you know
were talking about
like,
that too.
Cancel culture is interesting to me because like some people will say some pretty stupid shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they'll end up losing their job, and it's sometimes you're just like.
Do they have to lose their
have
job
to lose
over it?
Like, I know they're an asshole.
Well, let's get into that. Star Wars.
Shit.
What's her name?
That Gina Carla.
Gina Carla. So what did she tweet? She tweeted that conservatives are like the new Jews, right?
Yeah.
A dumb thing to say.
Dumb.
A dumb thing to tweet.
Dumb
right?
thing. Yeah.
However, was she a good actor? Yeah.
I thought she was great.
Did she play her role well?
She was pretty badass.
So how does she have to lose? I mean, at the end of the day, it is Disney's decision. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to
Cancel
do.
culture scares
but
me.
at the same time, it's like, if that's the norm, where you can't even say what you think online because someone's going to cancel you.
That's scary shit, man.
That is scary. I mean, that's like a world that I don't even want to...
What the hell is freedom of speech if you can't?
And then imagine trying to have a podcast. Like we're podcasters,
right?
We're just a ticking time bomb before we
exactly.
We're walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
So it's like my whole thing is like, somebody call me a bitch, I can open my mouth back up and call him a bitch.
Right.
Yeah.
I can just choose to leave him alone.
That's what I'm saying. You can either respond,
Exactly.
you can tweet back at her, or you don't have to look at it. You can just stop following her.
Here's the scary part, is that if you like end up arguing with somebody, they'll end up going into your stuff and looking for stuff to expose. Like, so you get into like some sort of argument with somebody that has no life and just will argue back with you just for the sake of arguments, you know, because of whatever they hear at the dinner table or whatever. They'll go into your past, they'll go look at all your stuff, and they'll find your thing, and they'll find some shit.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm gonna say some.
You don't even have to argue with nobody. If you a star, somebody just don't like if you.
I can't remember the
chop something out of context.
I can't remember the guy's name. He got hired by Saturday Night Live to be on the show. He was the new comedian hired by Saturday Night Live to be on the show. Guess how many episodes he did? 0. Before he even got to do one episode, people on Twitter went and found an old podcast that he was on 7 years earlier than the current time. And he said something, and he used an Asian accent. He was speaking like, "Hello, we Chinese," or like, you know, which is kind of
a good conversation,
which is offensive, I guess. But it's like that was 7 years ago. He did it for like a couple seconds. He wasn't talking about anyone in particular. He was making an Asian. I mean, how many people have done that before? Do an Asian. You just try to sound Asian.
If you can't.
He got canceled immediately.
Yeah,
I mean, they said on it live. That's like I'm not surprised by that at all. Like
I know, that's what I'm saying. Some of the stuff isn't really that surprising, but it still is like that kind of sucks. You can't say what you want. It is a head scratcher. You know, like because even like the topic of blackface, for example, like that was okay almost in the 90s. Like people thought it was okay. People were on national television.
I always thought it was
in
stupid.
blackface. Of course, it was stupid.
Yeah,
but it was okay.
Oh yeah, people used to do it normally, right?
Yeah,
and now if you did it in the past, you don't even show up anymore.
Yeah,
right. The whole thing is like with that is like if you at a party or something and you come in blackface or something like that, and you know what's wrong, don't do it.
Right?
Yeah,
just like certain things you do got to be smart about. But certain things, it's kind of like it's a head scratcher. Like
sometimes it is bad. It's not for a good reason. You know?
Like the whole blackface thing.
Sometimes
I can say I find that offensive because
it is.
They did it back in like the
exactly
20s and 30s and shit like that, and it was just kind of like
they purposely did it to be offensive.
Yeah.
But no, I get what you're saying. You're saying it's funny how that used to be normal.
It used to be okay. Think how everything's changed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the landscape of what is okay and what is not okay. And some things are just not okay that were done. You know what I mean?
Right. And then exactly, like culture-wise, people thought that was funny, which it never was. Yeah. And now all of a sudden everyone's woke, and so everyone's like, oh yeah, now it's not.
Jimmy Kimmel did it on the Tonight or the Man show, right? And he pretended to be a basketball.
So that's what I'm saying. Why isn't he canceled? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying he should be canceled, but I'm just like, where's the consistency? With that?
There's not a lot of consistency.
No, like with Scott, you being my fellow nerd, so you remember the Guardians of the Galaxy. So when James Gunn got fired, for some tweets they found 10 years prior. Yeah, I mean he eventually got rehired, which was cool because
he was so good, talented. Yeah, what he did.
So he got brought back on.
Yep, he's the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie he's directing. Which is cool because he done did the second Suicide Squad movie. Now he's coming back to do Guardians 3.
He probably crushed that too. He probably did a good job.
Because even Dave Bautista said that he was not coming back unless James Gunn was rehired.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's like what happens
his vision. It's his production. It's his work of art. It's what James Gunn's universe is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and Guardians of the Galaxy is some of the best Marvel films.
It is some of the greatest. For sure.
This whole cancel culture thing, with us doing our podcast, it's kind of like, we got to walk on eggshells to a certain extent, but we also got to be edgy enough to get noticed.
To stand out.
Yeah.
Right.
We can't just sit up there and be so conservative all the time. Yeah. And it's just like I said, you got 100 podcasts that are plain and safe.
Right.
And we among them hundreds.
Yeah,
and it's true. Like, okay, we got our name. Name might sound unique, but okay, they're boring.
Yeah.
You gotta do something to be unique and to stand out.
Well,
and a lot of times,
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just real quick. A lot of times you have to do something a little edgy, like you said.
Yeah.
And not everybody might take offense. Like someone might be offended by it. You don't know. I mean, you can't please everybody. You know what I'm saying? There's no way you can please everybody. It's impossible.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we live in a world now where we can become a fucking meme, and that's how we become rich. You know what I mean? Yeah. Accidentally doing something stupid, or just some stupid fall off a fucking roof or something. You become a meme, or you go on a fucking Dr. Phil show and say some dumb shit. Now you're a billion. This is a weird, concept. You know what I mean? Like,
that was funny.
Like people like you guys who work your ass off every single day, work your ass off 24 hours a day, and then some shit like that, but then you become a billionaire. So where is it okay? Should I say shit to stand out and become a meme and become a billionaire? Is that...
Depends on if you can hold it, though. Like, the Cash Me Outside girl, I would have bet my money that she wouldn't be able to hold it, but she's been holding it.
Yeah.
She has her YouTube channel popping now.
Yeah, she's doing a really good job.
Millions of dumb idiots like her that follow her for some reason.
and that's what
but it makes me a hater because she's killing it.
Yeah.
She is.
So I'll admit, I'm being a hater right now. You know what I'm saying?
And it's crazy because that's where the irony comes in too, because she said some offensive shit because she was 14 at the time, 15 at the time. And it's just so 15-year-old, 15-year-old little white girl, talking black.
Yeah, like an idiot.
And it's just like, and when I say, I can't even say talking black because you have a lot of educated black people that don't get the credit.
Yeah.
And I hate.
But she was going for like a hood type of sound.
And that's another thing that's construed because, you do have a lot of people that are white that kind of.
When I heard the name appropriated whiteness, when I heard that showing up on time and it's like white, so I don't know who the fuck invented this shit.
Oh, dude,
like, who was it?
Oh yeah, they call it critical race theorists, where they're teaching people now. Try not to be so white anymore, or on the flip side of that, they'll say, oh, you shouldn't have braids, you shouldn't wear your hat a certain way because it's cultural appropriation. To me, it's like now we're just trying to look for things to divide people.
Just like dragging.
Yeah. What is that going to do? How's that going to unite people?
Yeah. And with that, it's just like, with some people, they do kind of look at, they look at movies like Boys in the Hood, you got Minister Society, movies like that.
Excellent films.
Belly. Yeah, and they think that that's how we live in all the time. So, even people in my own race or whatever, it's kind of like, oh, you talk, like some people will say, well, you talk white. Like, this wasn't said to me personally, but I've known people that said that. And it's just like,
right.
If I'm a black man and I have you know, a way of speaking.
White or black? I think that's
no, it's
and
not.
I have a way of speaking.
Yeah.
And it's just like, even like with some white people, I ran into the white people that would talk to me trying to talk like in a hood voice. It's like, bruh, like, I don't talk like that. You know, I could bring it out if you want me to.
Yeah.
But
you are
normally
you.
I got my voice, I got my own voice. You know, I was taught, you know, to be me.
Right.
And, you know, it's the whole stereotype thing, which brings back the whole irony because like with the cancel culture, because Catch Me Outside was kind of like, that was some ignorant shit.
Right.
But people ate that shit the fuck up.
Ate it right up.
And then on top of that, it's just like, but some people would say like, if you know, a black kid said that, you know, they would be like, oh my God, the parents, where are the parents? They
right.
They
would have been like, oh, look at this.
It was just like,
Right. You're right. That's definitely true. There's definitely different ways. Like people get treated differently based on the situation, and you know, some people find certain things funny, and then a different person, different race, it's not funny anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I'm gonna bring up another perfect example of that. We all remember the Harambe incident.
Harambe, yeah.
So you know, I got 3 kids.
Yeah.
You got 3 young kids, you know, so they hard to keep up with at the same time.
Yeah.
So that was another thing. Where were the parents at? How did you get in there?
Yeah, like they were there, like they knew what happened, right?
And it was just like, and you know, they crucified him in the media.
Right.
But then there was another family, a white family that went.
The alligator.
The alligator, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, the poor mother.
And it was just like, and my whole thing was like, okay,
where's the consistency at?
Yeah, where's the consistency? Don't sit up there and
either feel bad for both parents or criticize both parents, but have some consistency. You know what I'm saying?
Hello. So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but it's just like
I saw that too.
Like that's what I hate about the media, and I feel like the media does blow a lot of things out of proportion because they make things worse than what they have. Like even with Black Lives Matter, you know, they report all the vandalism and everything, but they don't report every single protest that happened.
Oh yeah.
Around that was peaceful.
Oh yeah. You can find Black Lives Matter live streams where they're walking down the street peacefully with their signs, doing their chants, and there's nothing wrong, nothing happening. But you won't hear about that on the.
I've never even seen a real Black Lives. I've never even seen that go violent, like a real Black Lives Matter, like actual protests. Of when it's like they actually go home at a certain time, they show up at a certain time.
Yeah,
they don't fuck around.
Get their permits.
Yeah,
they do it all right, and that happens every day.
Exactly.
But you don't hear about that as much.
It's not.
You only hear about, oh look, this window got smashed. This, you know what I'm saying?
That's what makes this. That's what makes us all hypocrites because we want to see peaceful shit, but at the end of the day, we enjoy chaos that much more.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we enjoy that chaos. And it's just so crazy because we want to cancel somebody, but yet we still bloodthirsty for a lot of bullshit. And it's crazy because we all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it.
Yep.
Sometimes if I had a positive stuff, I'm watching a positive story on the news, boring, I would rather see somebody get shot in the face. It's fucked up to say.
Yeah,
it's fucked up to say, but
it's
that's the type of culture we have.
It's American culture, man. We grew up in, we got Hollywood, we got movies, we got Quentin Tarantino, we got Stanley Kubrick, we got all these movies that raise the bar of what kind of like edginess we can handle.
Right.
And now we're just immune to that shit. Now we eat it up. Like we're like desensitized to that shit now.
Right.
So you can see something crazy, a fight go down, and you can just be sitting there eating your popcorn, just watching, enjoying it. Whereas somebody who's not used to that, who's not desensitized, will see that and get completely scared, run away.
Culture shock.
Well, here's what it is. People are like this all the time, right? And they get their little dopamine centers after watching somebody get like decapitated or something. So then they see a regular fight, they're just like, you know, like they just seen some crazy ass shit where like an elephant just like trampled somebody.
You could literally YouTube videos of somebody getting their head chopped off.
Yeah, and people get weird dopamine, like they actually enjoy watching that shit. You know what I mean? And they'll be on the outside world and like some chaos will be going on. It's like, I live in this shit. This is normal.
That's wild.
You know?
But don't call somebody that F word that rhymes with maggot.
Yep. You can't say that word no more. That word used to be thrown around so much 10 years
We talked about that too.
Yeah.
How I was on the West Coast and I used the word gay to refer to something as stupid and the whole room went silent because it's like super, you know, you can't say shit like that on the West Coast at all. Like you're just But I didn't realize it because I'm programmed from Buffalo. Like when I was a kid, I used to say things are stupid or gay sometimes, and I don't think it's a good idea to say it. But I just do it sometimes, you know. And I accidentally said it on the West Coast, and the whole room went silent. It was like,
like me and one of my best friends, like that F word that rhyme with maggot. We could have a whole conversation, and we could be saying this to each other like we don't mean nothing by it.
Yeah.
You're just talking.
Like that's just how we talk to each other.
It's like saying stupid or something.
Yeah, we talk shit to each other, and that's just how we do. We don't mean like, and and one of my best friends is gay, and it's which is crazy because he doesn't find no offense to it. He know that we all friends. We don't mean it. We love each other, and it's just the fact that this culture right now is like so pussified. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you want to say whatever you want.
Fuck it. It's a lot of pussified shit going on now, and I'm gonna look dead into the camera when I say this. We need to grow the fuck up.
Yeah, man.
And just like it's okay to get offended by some things, but at the end of the day, we all grown. Like somebody call you that F word that rhymes with maggot, call them it back. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like,
back in the day, we had comedians like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. What's the dude? Come on, I can't think of
Carlin.
George Carlin. Yes, that's what I was thinking of too. We had the great Sam Kinison. Yeah. Did they hold back because of cancel culture?
Don Rickles?
Don Rickles.
You ever see Don Rickles?
Yeah,
he roasts everyone.
But that's what
white,
I'm saying.
Black, Jewish, Spanish.
And it was gold.
Yeah.
And nobody got offended by it because he was joking. And it came from a place of love.
Everyone laughed.
It actually brought people together because we can make jokes about each other. And we know it's not true. We're joking.
Right. We joking. We having fun. We bullshitting around. I don't really mean to call you that word,
right?
But it's just a simple fact that it's just what happens.
When Dave Chappelle makes white jokes, I'm dying on the floor laughing. I'm not offended one bit.
And if you watch some of them old comedy specials with some of these comedians, it worked because they could point out somebody in the crowd and start breaking on them, and it was cool because it was like. That's
what you're there for. You're like, you want to be part of the
show.
You
coming at me like,
you feel involved a little bit.
Oh yeah, you feel like this is me right now.
Like you interacting with your crowd and you having fun with them, and it's cool.
Right. But then there are instances where it does get too far, and I'll give you an example. The guy from Seinfeld, what's his name again?
Michael Richards.
Michael Richards.
Yeah, he went way too.
But here's the reason why I bring that up is because. We're adults. We know when it's real and when it's a joke.
Right.
He got real right there. That was not cool.
Right.
And he deserved to be canceled for that.
Oh yeah.
So when somebody
said,
but there's a big difference between that and someone like Dave Chappelle when it's clearly a joke and everyone's laughing together. Whereas you're literally calling someone in the crowd a word.
Yeah,
and being directed at that person, not even being funny. No one's laughing.
No funny at all.
We're adults. We know the difference.
Yeah. Right.
So we don't have to conflate the two together. We can separate those. Yeah. It's easy. It's not that hard.
So and I agree with that because it is certain things where it's like, okay, you said that and you meant that shit. So
yeah. So you're done.
Same thing with
that's the end of your career. I'm not going to support you no more if you say some stuff like that.
Same thing with Don Imus with the nappy headed hoes comment.
Yeah.
He was out of line for saying that.
Right.
Apology definitely should have been given.
Yeah.
And it was just like, dude, like.
And then there's the aspect of do you give people second chances when you could tell they're sorry or whatever.
Even like you're a wrestling fan, Hulk Hogan. Saying the N-word.
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
He's an idiot.
Yeah, that didn't go well.
I'll tell you what, because of that, I don't like Hulk Hogan anymore.
Right. There you go. Listen, that's what I'm trying to get at, is if we don't have to try to make people hate people for jokes, we know when it's not a joke, and we can choose to not like something because of the way it comes off.
Yeah, no, I agree, yeah.
It's like, think about it. People try to get people canceled because they say something as a joke, and they want to get them canceled because they don't like them. But then someone says something like Hulk Hogan, and there's no cancel culture needed. He's just canceled just for saying it because everybody
still wasn't
agrees.
Canceled, unfortunately. He's still Hulk Hogan. He still goes into a place and everybody cheers his stupid little fucking name. He does a little thing. He still can do it. He's losing it though. It's like half and half now. The boos are starting to, so now they don't even want to put him in front of the shit anymore because he's starting to get the boos now. Well, now because it's COVID, you got no fucking crowd as it is, so they can put him on TV as much as they want. Yeah. But he was starting to get boos finally. Yeah. The real fans, the real wrestling fans, don't like Hulk Hogan the second he said all that shit. Yep. It's like that was too much.
And it wasn't even like you tweeted you
no, having with his daughter.
Yeah, you was having a typical conversation, and then
and that's because that shows us that's who he is.
Yeah.
We know that if that's how you are casually, then dude, I'm done supporting you.
Yeah, Michael Richards, people might agree, but people might disagree with it. But you can kind of give him the benefit of the doubt because
that's what I was gonna say. Some people maybe you can forgive them because I mean, a lot of his friends came out, like Seinfeld himself said, listen, he was having a bad day, a bad week.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know.
Which
I
apologize.
I'm someone that can't really.
Which we all have. We all have bad days, but sometimes it's just I can't walk around saying cracker ass cracker.
Right.
Because I'm mad at somebody.
right.
It just wouldn't bother me at all.
No. It's a good point because like that's a good point. It's like, do we forgive people over time or do we condemn them forever from society? That's
I don't think we should condemn anyone for what they say.
Even with that term cracker ass cracker, like I know a few white people that's not offended by that word at all, and
it doesn't offend me one bit.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of it was some old school shit. It said it come from like the crack of the whip.
Yeah, that's what that word is. Yeah.
So like,
yeah, I knew that.
So
it comes from a place of truth. I mean,
yeah,
slave owners were cracking whips.
How can a white person ever be offended by anything ever? I don't understand. How could there be a word that offends a white person ever?
I don't know.
I don't get that. How do you find that? How do you become a victim somehow and say, "Oh, reverse racism"?
Well, that's what the argument because there's people who
how does that exist?
People make
at
the
all?
argument that you can't be racist if you're black.
That's just my personal view.
And I get where they're coming from because, like you just said, we can't we're at a higher place, so it's harder to get offended. Yeah. But there has to be a definition for someone who hates somebody because they're white. There has to be some definition for it.
Yeah.
You can't just leave that undefined. So I don't know. That's a gray area that I don't really get too much into.
I don't know. If you get bothered by getting called a cracker by anybody, then you gotta take a look at what's going on.
Yeah, you might understand.
You're getting called a cracker.
Right.
Who cares?
Like,
who cares?
I don't care.
And a lot of it, like, you go back to like Malcolm X and Nation of Islam, you know, because a lot of the stuff that was going on at that time, and not to say, and this is still a lot of it going on. It's just more.
Yeah, I mean.
I would say more covered. I would say it's right in front of our eyes, but it's like more blanketed.
It's a different flavor.
Yeah.
It's a different type. You know what I mean?
Malcolm X's cause was real, and it comes from a place of like real experience and hardship and real like actual like the motherfucker is like, I'm fighting back, and why shouldn't you?
Right. Which was
like
I can't. Martin Luther King's his message was more so kind of just turn the other cheek, and Malcolm X was like, no,
we're fighting back.
We're fighting back.
Yeah.
Which they
makes sense to me.
They agreed to disagree. It was like they had the same goal, but they had different routes on how to take it.
Right. They realized that they were attacking the same problem with two different solutions. That's what it was.
I mean, I'm going through this stuff in history class right now with like Jim Crow laws and how fucked up America was.
Imagine, because people forget the 60s was right before the 50s, which was things were like there was different water fountains, there was different
segregation.
That was I mean, that's not even right around the corner when it comes to history. That just happens. People are still alive from that.
And then you're gonna get pissed at someone that's pissed off about that? Like, I don't understand that.
Like, my dad was a kid when Malcolm X was murdered.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, my dad was alive when Malcolm X, JFK, and Martin Luther King walked this earth.
Yeah.
And my grandfather was from Tennessee. Fun fact: my granddad was actually, I think he went to the movies or something like that, and he was threatened by a white woman who said that, I forgot exactly how it happened, but she said she was gonna slap him, and he said he was gonna slap her.
Good.
And this was back in the 40s in Tennessee.
Wow.
So his dad put him on the train to Buffalo.
That's fucking
His
crazy,
dad put him on the train to Buffalo because he knew that wasn't going to sit too well with too many people out there. And I went to Tennessee a couple years ago for my family reunion, and that was country. Like, you ever heard of Tina Turner Nutbush?
Yeah.
That's real.
That's awesome.
I've seen the museum where they got all her stuff, schoolhouse where she used to go.
Yeah.
Like Nutbush, Tennessee, Stanton, Tennessee. Like, it's a few miles from Memphis, but it's real.
You know what? Since we got about 12 minutes left, whatever, give or take, you're talking about musicians. You just mentioned Tina Turner. I want to get into some Illuminati stuff real quick. I don't mean to halt the conversation.
No. That's fine.
We were talking about conspiracy theories, and Illuminati is fascinating because is there a shadow government, and not just government, but like elites in Hollywood, Silicon Valley, China, Russia? Like, is there some sort of shadow elite that controls things behind the scenes?
I feel like Jeffrey Epstein might have been Illuminati.
Ooh.
Hey, if I know what it was,
did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself?
I don't feel he did.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
I don't think he even died.
I don't fucking know.
So there's three options here.
What a fucking crazy story.
There's three options here. Either he killed himself, and it's all true, or someone killed him, or he never died, he escaped.
Yeah, that's the scary part, too. That's the scariest one.
And nobody knows where he got his fortune from.
No one knows. It's unreported. He had billions of dollars in his own island in the middle of nowhere, and no one knows. If you look him up, it says he's a, what is his title of occupation?
Sex predator?
No.
That's what he was.
Investor, not investor. What do you call it? Something tier. I can't think of it.
I don't know.
Whatever. But and basically it's like a fancy word for like investor.
Mm-hmm.
So how does an investor just, you know what I'm saying, just come up out of nowhere?
Right.
How do you become you don't just become, you don't go to school, I'm going to become an investor.
Right.
You know,
well,
you have to have money.
He was born into money. That's why.
What I'm saying. He was born wealthy.
He was born very wealthy.
Same with Donald Trump. Like,
yeah.
I could see Donald Trump probably being an Illuminati member, and probably pissed him off. That's why he lost the presidency.
Right. Maybe he was fighting back against the Illuminati or something like that. You know what I mean?
Who knows? And then with Donald Trump too, like, and this is what scares me about him. To me, he was born into money. So once you're born into money, you borrow money after some point.
Yeah.
It's not even about. And
you ever hear that stupid phrase? I was only given $1 million loan as a child. Only
like that.
And first of all, we know it's more than that.
Yeah.
But only. Come on, dude.
Like Kanye West, like that song "Power." That no one man should have all this power. Because like when somebody is driven off power, that's when they become the scariest person in the fucking world.
Yeah.
Because they can't be bought.
Right.
No.
And it's just like
they don't have an allegiance to any country. It's to themselves and their money.
Why do you want to be the president? Why?
I don't know. It's a good
what's
question.
something to do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what we were talking about earlier in this episode. We were talking about when you're that high up, you think us being down here, we think having $1 billion, we'd be out with our yachts and just chilling. But once you get to that moment, you're already thinking high. There's something about the human brain where you always want more.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like it makes you wonder, because we now know that the market for technology is about 10 years, maybe 20 years behind what the government possesses as far as technology. It makes you wonder what these elites have access to that we don't even know about. What if time travel exists?
Survey, data, that's what they have control of. And with survey and data and these, they control what we look at. They control what we see.
Right.
They control what we subscribe to. Do you understand that this phone will do anything possible for you to look at it, okay?
Yep.
You can literally turn off an app that keeps giving you alerts, and all of a sudden something else will pop up and say, hey, Sally just posted something. You should probably look at it because you like Sally and she's got a nice ass, and you're just going to go over there and look anyways.
You know what's something crazy, though? You ever, like, be thinking of something?
Yeah.
Like, you don't even say it out loud. Say you think of Malcolm X. We're not even going to say Malcolm X. Let's just say dog breed or some shit like that.
Fucking A, right.
And you, as soon as you type in D, like dog breed pops up.
Yeah.
Like
that happened to me so many times,
your
dude.
Phone knows
where I'm not even, I won't even say it.
It learns you. I'm telling you, I watched a documentary literally that tells you that your phone knows what you like, knows what you want to see, and will do anything for you to pick it up and stay on it, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what app it is, no matter who you're talking to, your phone will always alert you to just be in possession of it.
But you know, and that's
like
all.
drone.
That's all known, though. That's not like a That's not a conspiracy theory.
No.
I want to know what's unknown. I want to know what we don't even know about. Like, what the hell can this? Who is the highest of the high in this world right now?
Right.
Who's the real king of the world? Because there has to be somebody who's the highest up. There has to be. And if that person, what does that person have access to? Is time travel possible? Can they travel at the speed of light? Can they, I don't know, teleport? I don't know. I'm thinking crazy right now.
But here's the thing. That's not that far off to think of, because 10 years ago, or even 20 years ago, None of this existed.
Right.
None of it.
To them, it did, though.
So how about 20 more years?
Yeah, can you imagine?
What? Dude, if we learn
by
how
the way,
to
I'm
go
gonna
back in
show that
time,
picture right now.
which I don't think is possible.
The supposed Jay-Z of time travel. I know it's not real, but just to throw it out there, like it makes you wonder, dude. If time travel is gonna happen, that means then someone in the future can travel back to the past, which would be right now. And that means time travel should be around already.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be like our own like dimension? If you want to get into this pretty thoroughly, wouldn't it just be our own timeline, though? How would you know if you affect anyone else's timeline? Because you wouldn't be in the same dimension.
But think about this, though. You go back in time. Oops.
But it's your time.
But you go back in your time, but you go back to an older time, so now you're messing with their time.
But what happens to the time you left from?
What's that show? This would be
That means there's multiple dimensions.
Quantum Leap.
There's a multiverse.
Remember that show, Quantum Leap?
Yeah,
Quantum Leap.
I remember Quantum Leap. You turn to a different person every time. You have to figure out some shit. Yeah, that was an awesome show. It was a dope ass show.
What about aliens? Do you think we contacted aliens?
I believe we have.
You ever
have to talk to him.
You ever heard of Bob Lazar? From he worked at Area 51. He was on Joe Rogan. He disclosed that he worked on an alien craft that fell from the sky. I don't know where it was. I think it was in Nevada. They found this craft, and he claims, and I guess he's been through lie detectors and everything, and private lie detectors watched him on video to see his eye movement, and they said he's completely honest. Nobody has found, and not one person has said this guy's lying yet. Everybody so far has agreed with him so far. And he says they worked on this craft that had no electricity, no power, no buttons. It was an element that's not from this world. It's not on the periodic table.
Yeah.
This element, I forgot the name of it. I'm put it up on the screen real quick. This element, it literally bends gravity so that any object can float and travel at the speed of light. And if you can bend gravity, you can do whatever you want. You can go in any distance you want, as fast as you want.
Yeah.
And this thing's powered by solar, by the sun, and it powers itself, basically.
You know what I think?
Wow.
I think that were you done? I apologize.
Yeah, no, I'm done.
What I think is they're waiting for us. They're waiting for us to get a little more. I think like you just said, it was a whole new element, which we never even. Our minds can't really.
We can't wrap
we can't perceive certain elements.
It's like saying, is there another color that exists that you don't know about? We only know purple, green, blue, red. So what if there's another color? We just can't see it.
So there's that conspiracy.
Some words.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that conspiracy theory that everyone's in their own dimension or universe. Okay, so what you see optically, what you see out of your eyes, is only your world. You're the center of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a good conspiracy theory if you think about it.
Yeah.
It would think, especially the guys like us who are just we're not famous and rich or anything. So if that was true, we think of this if we found that out and we knew this was our universe, we'd be able to control every single aspect of it.
I read Stephen Hawking's book, and he said broke it down that there's no center of the universe. The universe is expanding from all directions at once.
Yeah.
Which means every point in the universe is the center of the universe. Which means you are the center of the universe. I'm the center of the universe. You're the center. Everything's the center of the universe.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Next time somebody you think you're the center of the universe.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Stephen Hawking said I was. He's really smart.
Yeah. But that right there, though, to wrap your head around the concept of infinity.
Yeah. Multiverse.
He's just died. Yeah. So the concept of infinity. Think about this, and we can close after this real quick, and you can say what you got to say too before we close. The concept of infinity is so mind blowing. Okay, so our universe, technically, our universe ends where it's called the cosmic background cosmic radio background. Right, that's the end of our universe. However, they say that the universe goes on. That's just as far as we can see. Yeah. That there's more beyond the cosmic background radio. And that it's concept of infinity means an infinite amount of space and time exists, which means anything you can think of anything. Think of flying unicorns is existing somewhere because it's infinite. Yes, so think about math. Infinite amount of numbers of math. Every number on the infinite spectrum is something you can think of. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, all the way to infinity is a different world, a different concept. That means God exists. That means aliens exist. Whatever, anything you can think about is somewhere out there in infinity.
Yeah, that talks about my conspiracy of the optical perception of humans.
Right.
Do we make up our own universe? Are we a part of a multiverse
or a simulation?
If time travel is possible, if it was possible, do you understand the implications to traveling through time and having the knowledge you have?
Right.
You can change the entire world by yourself. So if one person comes up with time travel, which I don't think is possible, unfortunately, even though there's been some pretty impossible things that happen, that one person can alter the history of mankind.
That's it. They'll live forever too.
And what was I going to say?
They're about to die. They're shut back in time, back to being young again.
And so this
live
is. I'm gonna close with my bullshit after this.
And then let you.
So there's only one definite. Okay, there's only one definite for human beings. The only definite, which I don't want to talk about any type of like sexuality or anything. The only definite is a penis is supposed to go in a vagina, and we were supposed to reproduce. That is the only definite. Okay, that's the only thing that we know as humans.
That's what we're coded to do.
Works. It actually is a miracle of life. What if
that's all life though?
What if we are supposed to try to find out how to live forever? What if there is a way to live forever, to reanimate your cells and not grow old? Like, what if we find that out? You know, like that would be pretty wild.
What do you think about all this?
I think everything that's been said is possible.
Yeah.
And we got about 30 seconds left, but we will definitely have to do a follow up to this.
Yeah, for sure.
These are definitely amazing questions to ask.
Awesome.
You know, I don't think Jeff Epstein's dead. I think he's on his ass somewhere. But we definitely want to talk about it. We're definitely gonna do a follow up episode.
Awesome.
With that being said, I'm Nerdboy D. Got Scott and Neil.
Yeah, Nerd City Chronicles taking over.
Yeah. So with that being said,
716.
the Nerdboy is out.